What up? We are here. Say hello to us. Say hello to us.
Oh, hello us.
You're no fun. Ooh, there's new things we can make fun of today.
Oh, I love new things.
I love making fun of things.
What's that they're asking 234?
Well, I haven't put it up yet, so we're not gonna mention it yet.
Okay.
And let's bring it up. Boom! It's there.
Boom,
Okay.
it's there. We can make fun of things.
Now we can make fun of it.
What the?
What the?
No, he just put random numbers.
What the what?
Those paintball markers that have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
So
9, 0.
$50 for a CO2 tank, useless. 2 pods. Gravity-fed hopper. Looks like a pair of gloves. He calls it a barrel flag. It's just a barrel plug. You can't use that, dog. It's too loud. Very quieter toy. Barrel squeegee, which is one of those cheap ones you get with a spider. Dog, what did I tell you? Get a quieter toy.
It's a nice case, though.
A striker hybrid. I don't even know what that is. So $50. I don't know. I don't feel like that's a stretch, but I wouldn't pay for it. That's for sure. Bring me a quieter toy, and I'll play with a quieter toy, dog. Here, how about this? Go get that. He doesn't want that. He wants the loud toy. Well, I'm not throwing the loud toy, so. So this person, that's a big number for this guy.
Exactly.
It's a big number. So what it comes in it? A Titman 98, an Ion,
Platinum.
Electro, and a Proto. So I guess he's just kind of like throwing out there, seeing what will come in. So you can't really make fun of that, I guess, because like there's no amount to make fun of, I guess. Oh, someone's selling an Ether 2. Only used twice field. I got lost interest in the game. The hopper in the picture comes with it too, along with a mask, Ether 2, and Ninja Air. That's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal. Lost interest in the game, though. What? How do you lose interest in paintball?
Why would you spend money on Ether 2?
Just to lose interest?
Just to lose interest.
Yeah,
I don't understand. Why don't you buy a cheaper gun?
Yeah.
Like, if you're just getting into the game, you're buying an Ether because you already love the game.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb, I would think. Loki, get a quieter toy. I'm not throwing this. No. No, get a quieter toy. So this person is selling a Spider Extra. Basically brand new paintball gun, barely used, in excellent shape. Yeah, except...
You get screwdrivers with it, though.
That's all fine and dandy, except this gun is worth like $20. So it's worth like $20. The mask is worth nothing. The screwdrivers, sure.
That's not the worst mask we've seen.
It's not, but it's not worth anything. The screwdrivers, so maybe the screwdrivers come with it. Yeah, that's worth like $20. He's asking $150 for it, so yeah, that's pretty laughable. Someone's trying to sell a CO2 cylinder for $10. That's funny. What is this? A Rhino Spitfire. That's an old school gun.
That looks like...
Old school?
Yeah.
It is. So congratulations.
It looks like it's been sitting in the basement. It even still has the sticker on it. What does that say?
Dicks.
No, but it has a price. Does that say $129?
I don't know.
It says $149.99.
Wow.
So originally that gun was $150.
So maybe there you go. This is a much quieter toy. See, I'll throw that. Go get it. Don't get distracted by the other loud toy again. And I guess that's about it. That's all we got to make fun of today.
Yeah, the other stuff we already made fun of.
Someone's having a garage sale. Why is that popping up under paintball? I don't understand.
Maybe there's... It's probably sports things.
Maybe. Could be sports things. Could indeed be sports...
Sports things.
Things. It's possible.
It's possible.
It's very possible. Apparently we have one person watching. Don't know who that is, but there's one person. Hello, one person.
Hi, one person.
So 5 minutes.
It's probably Xavier.
It's probably Xavier. What makes you say that?
Because Xavier never tells us when he's watching. He watches it or more so listens to it like a podcast, and doesn't really ever participate. So I just always assume it's Xavier.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, hello, whoever you are.
Whether it is Xavier, I don't know. It doesn't tell me, but
It's true. I think I figured out the participation part, though.
okay.
I think participants is who has been involved in the conversation. Like participating in the conversation, not participating as watching.
Okay.
I think. I could be wrong on
I
that.
thought we tested that already. But
I don't
okay.
know. Maybe we did.
Anyway.
That's what I was thinking. But I could be wrong. So the first thing is Arbitage. So over the weekend was Operation Arbitage. It was a limited paint event. Dalton and I played it. A-Dog took pictures. And she has decided that she very much enjoys taking pictures. It's not the first time she's taken pictures for games. But she very much enjoys it. And so pretty much from now on, any game she doesn't play, she's going to take pictures at, which is exciting. So we should have more pictures in the future, depending on whether it was a game she played or not.
We lost our viewer.
We did. They'll be back. I believe in them. But yeah, so the game ended with a score of 1,500. Us, we were the good team. We were the good guys, the Americans. We had 1,500 points. And the bad guys, the Russians, had 3,200 and some change. That's a big difference. They had over twice as many points as us. And I can't figure out how that happened. Now, as I release videos from it, you guys will see, how the day went, how much of the field we owned from here to there, different points of the day. But overall, I can say, without, I don't want to give too much away because then that ruins the videos, but we did very well throughout the day, as far as controlling the field. There were a couple points where Dalton and I, and I'm sure other people did too, but I know of Dalton and I, did some fun things that you'll see. They're fun to watch. And when you think about those things versus and everything else that happened, dog, what did I say? Get out of here. Go away. I can't figure out how the score ended up so lopsided. We lost. That's fine. I've lost games before. I have no problem with that. I don't understand how we lost as badly as we did. Any insight? That's a good answer.
I'm confused by that as well. From watching, seeing some things go down from the Russian side, because I was the only photographer there. So I was asked to go onto the Russian side and take pictures of them as well and get everybody onto the field. I'm really confused what they actually did. Now, I know that there were a couple missions that were behind where their spawn point was, that maybe they just collected a lot because they didn't do the first mission. They didn't seem altogether organized. There was a little snafu with the Venezuelans that Russia partook in. Every time I was on the field, you had the Americans or yellow you were like 5 feet away from their spawn point. Now, if you're familiar with P3 or if you're not, American spawn point was back behind where the spawn point is near side for Vietnam, and then Russian or the red team, they were in the middle of the jungle. So you had to walk halfway into the field on jungle to see where they were. And you, for the most part of the game, were on the line between jungle and Ultimate Woods Ball, where if you go to the back end of the field, there's a pathway and there's a tree that's fallen. I call that's where the rope line is that separates the two fields. You were primarily there the entire game. So unless they had a lot of missions in Black Forest or back in Jungle, I don't see how they got a lot of things accomplished.
They must have had a lot of missions in Black Forest, is all I can figure out.
Well, I know there was one mission, I believe this was after lunch, that they needed to hold a slapstick. And they were allowed to choose the slapstick, and Cody was the mission ref for that. And he was taken aback of what he actually needed to do. Hi, Minion. Because in Black Forest, there are 3 slapsticks. In Jungle, there's 1 slapstick.
There's 2.
There's 2 in Jungle? I only ever see 1. But regardless, they were allowed to choose it, and then they had to hold it to be their color. Now, I have no idea. Cody didn't know what he was actually supposed to do. So I don't know which slapstick they chose, but if they chose the slapstick, let's call it Charlie, the one way far back in the woods in Black Forest, there was no way that you were getting. I mean, I know that you hit enemy lines, but
that's what I would have done. It makes sense.
Exactly. That makes sense for them, absolutely, if they were allowed to choose. But why are you allowing them to choose? On a mission, you should say they need to hold this slapstick. That's giving them power.
Yeah, I would agree. So the thing anyone that watched the interview with Paul, he mentioned something as far as, because I had asked him, what happens if one team is controlling most of the field? Because they're just better, or whatever the circumstances. And he said that he's designed the points where it can equalize the points even despite owning the field because of what happened at Reapers. And so I think what happened was, because we did push them so far back during the game several times, all of their missions were in that section of field that they owned. You know, let's just say, for easy math, let's say we controlled 90% of the field and they controlled 10. And their missions are going to be in the 10% that they own. Well, it's very easy for them then to complete those missions because they're all right there. And we have to run all over the place, over 90% of the field. Don't bring me another loud toy. Bring me a quiet one. I have the other loud one on the side for a reason. Sorry. So we had to run everywhere, and theirs were just right there. I assume that's what it was. I'd have a request that the situation be explained to me so that we can figure out how we lost as badly as we did. I know there was a miscommunication between the staff running the game and our general. At one point, I guess the radios stopped working. I think they said it was about for an hour or so, and I don't know how many missions are in that hour, but that's a long time for us to not be getting any points. And that definitely came into play. I have no doubt of that. But I don't feel like it was enough for them to over double our score. And I have to go ahead and blame 2 different people for that. Actually, probably at least 4. Loki, stop, baby. You just gotta stop. So first 2 would be the people in charge of running the game, dispersing the points. I think it's less so their fault, and that would be Paul and Brian. They're the 2 in charge of it. So less so their fault, but still their fault. So there was obviously a mistake. Don't bring me a third one of this. Bring me something quiet. Because they didn't fix the issue. I don't even know if they know the issue happened. I don't know if when they figured out that there was an issue. So more of the blame is actually going to be placed on our general and XO. And the reason for that is because there was a set amount of time we were supposed to get our missions. Was it every 10 minutes or every 20 minutes maybe? Even if it was only every half hour. Okay, let's say it was every half hour.
I believe every mission was 45 minutes, though.
But there was more than one mission happening at a time. So let's say it was every half hour. Okay, so it was at least an hour, which means that why didn't you go and say, hey, where's our mission from a half hour ago? What took them so long to go and ask why we weren't getting the information that we were supposed to be getting? And so Paul admitted that there was an issue and it was partly his fault. But I agree with him that it's not mostly his fault because it was not his responsibility to earn us points. It's our turn. It's our team's responsibility to earn us points, and it's our general's responsibility to tell the team what points we're supposed to be gaining. And so it's his responsibility to go to figure out what we're supposed to be doing and go to the commanders or the guys running it and say, hey, we're not getting our information. What's going on here? I guess I'll add a fifth person, and that would be our spawn ref.
Who was your spawn ref?
It was someone I didn't know. Some older guy. But, like, where was this guy? Okay, so the spawn ref should be like, hey, what up? You know, because so over the radio, I believe, I don't know exactly, but I believe this is how it worked. Over the radio, Paul would announce open envelope A. And then the ref would open it up, hand it to our general. So I guess the radio wasn't working between Paul and our ref, which means that our ref wasn't getting our general the information. So why didn't the ref figure something out? So there's like a huge miscommunication. I don't know who to blame most. I'm going to put most of the blame on our general. Because if I was generaling or XOing and, you know, the time drops, you know, you're supposed to get a mission at 2 o'clock and it's now 2:07, I'm going to say, hey, where's my mission? You know, if I'm general, she's probably XO, so I'm going to say, A-Dog, go down and figure out where our mission is. What's going on? You know, because I'm trying to radio them and nothing's happening.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Were you in talks or was your general in talks with Venezuela at all?
Mm-hmm.
Because I walked down to Venezuela numerous times because it's how I left the field. And people were shooting into Venezuela, and it had to be yellow because that's where you guys were.
Pause for a second, just so everyone knows. There were actually 3 teams in this game. So it was Americans, yellow, Russians were red, and then there was a third-party team, kind of neutral / can go either way, and that was green.
So it didn't seem like you had any communication with Venezuela. And then when Venezuela was up, I don't know, I think this was right after lunch, they were up by your spawn. And I was very confused why they were up there because previously they were making deals with Russia. And Jason was like, they're on our team. For right now, they could turn in any minute. They can turn in like 5 minutes or something. And then they could just shoot us all up from our spawn. And I, you know, wandering around the field, trying to take pictures, trying to be neutral as best that I could. I didn't see your team anywhere by Venezuela except for shooting at them.
Well, I don't know. I didn't have too much engagement with Green Team throughout the day because their spawn for most of the day was down in Compound. But then at some point, the nuclear bomb went off and the whole area became you weren't allowed down there because of the radiation. So their spawn moved to the plain in Vietnam. So that's why they were up there.
Oh, okay.
And now we didn't know that at the time. I figured that out later, but
I didn't know that.
Here's the issue. So we didn't know that. So there's two issues. He might be eating food. Check him out. So issue number 1 is the plane in Vietnam is much closer to our spawn than where they were in Compound compared to where the Russian spawn was. And by that I mean you could see their spawn from our spawn. which is way too close. And not to mention the fact that in order to get to the battle, we had to literally walk past them, right? So if they were against us at any given time during this situation, how would we get there? Because this is what happened. So, well, I don't know if I want to. I'll say that was their spawn, right? So they get shot. They just touch the plane and spawn. Okay. Well, at one point, I go to the commanders and I say, hey, green they're sitting right out there. What do you want us to do? And they said, just shoot them because we don't know why they're there. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. So we shoot them all multiple times and they just stand there. They keep shooting back. And we're like, I keep yelling at them like, hey, check your leg. You know, you got hit like 4 times and they don't go anywhere. Eventually we figure out, well, that's their spawn. Okay, well, that makes sense. That's why they're not going anywhere, because you hit them and they touch it and they come back. Like, they don't go anywhere.
And that's what they were doing when they were down on compound as well.
So that's the issue of far as, in order for us to get to the battle, we had to walk past their spawn from our spawn. So if they're literally invincible, they cannot die because they're sitting in their spawn. If they were against us at any given point during that situation, that would have been just ridiculous.
And based on where you guys were at that point, and I must have missed something because I didn't realize that. I must have left the field and didn't come back on after that because the camera died. I think that's the whole point of them, is that they legitimately stand next to their spawn and they just start shooting, and then if they get hit, they can like tap and shoot at the same time. Because that's what Brian was telling me when I was down when they were in
because the idea of them is they were supposed to be the mediator. They were supposed to, if one team got a huge advantage of the other, they were supposed to be the neutralizer. That was the idea.
Because it's stationed in Venezuela, so it's their land.
Yeah, so that's why they're the third party. They're just the people in the area.
It's very much like the French.
Yeah, pretty much. Very much similar to that. But the French have, at Ion, they have a specific entry point. It's always in the same place. This one, there's moved, which makes sense with the context of the story. It was in the same place until the nuke went off and they had to move. But it was just where they moved to. I did not like that. Because what if I'm not even talking about points. I'm just talking about field. What if we were losing? And so, if our spawn is here, their spawn is here, and let's say the enemy line was like right there. How long until the line is here? Because we have to go past their spawn to even get to the battle, and they're our enemies. So how would that have worked?
Why didn't they should have put them in Ultimate Woods Ball?
That would have been very
or
center.
At the far end respawn in Vietnam. That way you have to at least get past that.
Yeah, at least
field.
there would have been a whole field between us then at that point. But I don't know. So I'm going to have Paul explain it to me at some point. Maybe these are just criticisms for the next time. I don't know. But hopefully...
And Paul stated while he was here that he's all up for having constructive criticism and talking about it. And
well, hopefully he watches this then. But I'll definitely.
I don't think it's about criticism. I think it's about being confused and having questions about.
Yeah, for me, it's I don't mind losing in the slightest. As I've said many times, I'd rather me personally lose and our team win. I say that all the time, Minister, and the whole team losing. That's fine too. I actually would prefer to lose a close game, than win an outrageously one game. Like I'd rather lose by 10 points than win by 1,000 points. Honestly, I think it's a better game that way. So that's not my issue. My issue is I'm confused as to how the score was so crazy. I just don't get it. But I guess that's enough complaining about that. You guys will see some videos. I have at least 3 I want to release from it. I probably won't do the opening of the game just because not much happened for the first 40 minutes or so.
It was very silent on the field. I was worried about walking everywhere because it was just so...
It was pretty quiet.
Pretty quiet.
Probably what I'll do is I'll show like the first 5 minutes of the game, and then skip ahead to something else.
Did you enjoy the limited paint? Did you
I
feel
did.
that made a better game?
I really did enjoy limited paint. So I don't shoot fast to begin with. I think pretty much everyone knows that I'm a pretty slow shooter. Even before I was a pump player, I didn't shoot that much because I'm cheap and I don't like to buy a lot of paint. But it's so for me, it's just kind of it helps to equalize for new players versus experienced players. I was just complaining about this the other day. I don't know if we mentioned it last week when we were talking or not. I think we did. Where it was just regular open play and some speedballer hit me like 20 times.
Yes,
it was probably like 7. It wasn't like 20. But so with limited paint, you have to slow down. You have to be slower. And there were people there that had never played before. So I really think it helped bring them into the game nicer.
Females. In the later half of the game,
there were a good amount.
I think most people didn't realize what was going on.
Maybe.
So they came for open play, and then they're like, "Oh, here I am."
So I hope they had a good time. It was a good game, but the where do you get that? Yeah, it helps everyone slow down a little bit. I probably will release at some point. The first time I got hit in the day. They shot me, I think, 4 or 5 times. I remember one, it was at least 4 times that they shot me. And the first thing I did was get angry, and I tend not to show my anger on the field too much, but I was like, Bud, you need to calm it down. And then I thought, he has a very limited amount of paint. And I was like, God, keep shooting me. Come on, keep shooting me. You run out of paint.
I've only seen you... I think I've seen you get mad. I remember once in particular, because when you don't really get mad. There is no like volume control on you. You're mad, you wouldn't really know because you don't scream. But when F-bombs come out of your mouth, you know that you've pissed him off. Because you typically don't swear you don't use the F word on the field unless you're pissed off. So I've only seen you get really heated and angry about once or twice. I remember one specifically, but I don't remember.
Well, there's a video of one.
Usually if you get hit or overshot, I guess is the more apropos word, you get very angry about that. Or if someone you feel is not playing by your standards.
Maybe I have higher standards than most people.
And I don't mean standards as in they should be better or they should be doing something. Sportsmanship. Just being a jackass on the field or a jerk.
Don't be a dick. But that's why I like the limited paint. Also, it costs less. It certainly costs less to have.
Although you spent a lot on grenades.
I did. I spent a lot of money on
smoke
grenades.
And paint.
And they didn't turn out as well as
I think the smoke helped.
The smoke helped a lot.
The paint,
you guys
I don't
will see in the
understand
videos. You guys will see in the videos what the grenades did or didn't do. I'm not upset that I bought them at all, but they didn't do exactly what I was hoping. They didn't have the effect I was hoping for. I think they will have a better effect in a bigger game. So there weren't
that many people there.
I would say there was maybe 50 people total, maybe 60 people total, like 30 on 30 at the height. So there's not a lot of people. So there's a lot of empty room. If this was Reapers and I had those grenades, they would have been much more effective.
I believe at the beginning of the day, before, when they were calling like 5 minutes, Jen came out to Paul and said it was about 19 on 21.
Yeah.
So that's less than 50.
Yeah, it's not a lot of people, so the paint grenades weren't as effective as they would have been at a game like Reapers, where there's a whole lot more people in a small amount of area.
What else did you like, though, besides the paint? You mentioned what you disliked.
I thought that, for the most part, everyone was a good sport. Like, I didn't feel like there was anyone out there being a dick for the most part. I got overshot once, and it was the first time that I got shot that day. And so I think that guy just wasn't used to having limited paint. But I really liked... And there was one other occasion, I will not give this away at all because it is going to be a good video. There was one other little confrontation I had at some point. It was over very quickly, but even that, turned out okay. So everyone seemed like a good sport. That was nice.
Do you like having the third team?
Yes and no. I know why they're there, and I like the idea behind them, but I'm not sure I like having them there in general because now I don't know exactly what happened, but I do know that at the beginning of when lunch was called, the general told us that he said, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of, if things continue the way they are, F them, we're shooting everybody. Up until lunch, it had been, don't shoot a green unless they're shooting at you. So something happened where the general decided that no matter if they are green or red, you're shooting them. No matter what, you're shooting them. Now that ended up changing when their spawn was right next to ours, but that's what got us into that to begin with. So I don't know exactly what happened, but I like the idea of a third party because it fits with the story. You know, there would be people living there. That makes sense. It also makes sense as far as if one team is just wiping out the other, you give them backup. That makes perfect sense too. That way you don't have to trade people like Paul was talking about evening teams out, which you have to do. But if you do all this work for one team in the morning and then you're switched over to the other team in the afternoon, that's just no good.
I can't. I'm too competitive for that stuff.
So having the third team that can back up that other team is nice. It's also very rewarding when you complete a mission or whatever and get them on your team, even if it's just for 20 minutes, let's say. You have this nice, you got 10 extra people, depending on the size of the game, 10 extra people on your team, and you can push forward and make big advance, and then they're on the other team, and it balances out. So I like the idea of it. I'm just not sure it's always executed properly. I think Ion does it pretty well, but they've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
There's also a lot more people there. This particular one, I think it would have worked better if it was a bigger game. I think the issue was...
It was so small?
Yeah, the amount of members of Green Team was too big compared to the numbers
there
for
were
either
a
team.
lot of people on Green.
Yeah, because there were maybe 9.
They added.
I think there were maybe 9 people on Green Team. Which, when you're talking about 20 people on each team, that's 50%.
Almost,
you know, that's a big amount to add to a team. So I think they should have either scaled back Green. They should have scaled back Green. Is what they should have done.
Also, and I was thinking about this, that if you do kind of a newbies scenario where most of the teams are walk-ons, and you get walk-ons for every scenario around here because people don't realize that there's a scenario going on and they show up and they're like, okay,
Oh, let's play.
let's play. I think it helps those newbies when they're on, you have some support from another team. Although sometimes it's a pain in the ass. Like, you have to be invited to be French. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and I think this was actually a very good game for a first-time scenario player because it was small. It would have been a good introduction to scenario game. And a friend of ours, Jason, he actually brought his 12-year-old, 10-year-old.
So I think he's 10.
10-year-old son.
He might be 12. I
for
don't
the
know. I didn't get an age.
first time out paintballing at all, scenario or otherwise. And the kid did end up getting hurt, but went back on the field afterwards, so that was good. But I think that was a really good game for that kid to have played for the first time.
And Jason pretty much, he even stated to you when he was talking about what teams to go on, that he was going to hold back and he was going to introduce his kid into the sport. And I think he did it pretty well. Like, he definitely, he didn't play his game, but he definitely showed, the aspects and the fun stuff. And unfortunately, that poor kid got hit like smack dab in the ear, where it was like blood and paint, like right here, and it like perfectly kind of slid between the pieces of your, and I didn't think his name's Ash, I didn't think he was gonna go back on.
But he did.
He did. Because he was very upset. And you know what? At 10, if you get shot and it's in a sensitive area, so the head, the finger, the neck, that deters you from having like a great game. And he was playing pretty well. He was getting aggressive. He was moving. I think he did one move where like he was real laid back and then all of a sudden he saw people and he just started running after them. So that was like way in the beginning. So, unfortunately, that poor shot. And I think the guy overshot him, and probably not purposefully. He was probably a speedballer, and it came out. You know, you're trying to shoot 1 or 2, and 3 come out. But luckily, he went back on, and hopefully, he continues to play.
And that brings me, I guess, the thought of why you would use a speedball gun for a limited paint event. If that's all you have, makes sense. Use it because that's what you have. But if you have more than one gun, which most paintballers do, I would say, because most paintballers have their main and a backup, and usually your backup is probably a mechanical.
Yeah,
Why
but
wouldn't
if you're
you
on
use
a speedball team, do you have mechanicals just sitting around? Like, your backup gun is another speedball gun.
Maybe, I don't know. But even if I was using a speedball gun, I would turn down the balls per second. Like, I don't see why anyone with only 250 rounds would go out there at 10 balls a second. Why would you do that?
Maybe they don't care. I mean, if you get out of paint, you just go back to your spawn, fill up, and come back in, and then you have
It's
2
per
things.
life, though. It's not per. It's not per
No,
going back and getting one. It's per life.
I understand that. So get out. Force yourself to get out.
I
Call
guess so.
yourself out.
I guess so.
I mean, there's ways around that.
So Clark says he has 2 speedball guns. So Clark, answer this then. If you were going to a game where you're only allowed to have 250 rounds per life, that's it. You can't carry any more paint with you. Per life, 250 rounds. Would you go out there at full speed, or would you turn your gun down so
He
you
doesn't know what turning down his gun
couldn't shoot
means.
that fast?
He don't know what that means.
He probably doesn't. He has no idea how to adjust that, I'm sure.
And I don't know how to adjust mine. I know mine adjusts, but
Again, this is a loud toy. Bring me a quiet toy, and I will play it. You turn it down to about 5 to 6 balls per second. That's probably as low as it can go. That makes sense to me.
it's very interesting that planet eclipses or dies can go down to 5 to 6, and my Empire Mini doesn't go below 8.
It's cheaper.
So it's a cheap thing.
It's a smaller range because it's a cheaper gun.
I mean, that's not how I looked at it. Okay, that makes sense. That's not how I grasped it.
So that's enough for that. Unless you have any questions about how Arbitage went, but you'll see there'll be videos out, at least 3, I think.
And there are a bunch of pictures that my awesomeness took.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of pictures that A-Dog has it took, and they're up on the Facebook page. There's some pictures that other people took too.
Because Brian was taking pictures.
I put one up on Instagram the other day. I think it's really cool, and I think Brian took that one. I'm not sure, but it's got smoke and stuff. It looks really, really neat. I think he was actually taking a picture of Kivo. I just happened to be sitting right behind Kivo, so I got in the picture. But next would be Endgame. So Endgame's coming out. I'm very excited about it. How do you feel?
I'm excited to see Cap.
So we're going Friday morning at 9 a.m., which means it won't actually start till like 9:30 because preview. But we're very excited about it. So we've been watching not all of the movies. Before Infinity War, we watched every movie. We watched one a week. Loki, way too loud. Way too loud. Go away. But this time we watched. What did
We watched all the Caps.
All 3 Captain Americas, both Avengers, Thor Ragnarok, Doctor Strange. We're gonna watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Infinity War. One of the Ant-Man and the Wasp tonight, and then Infinity War probably tomorrow morning or tomorrow night, and then Friday morning at 9 a.m. I'm going to see Endgame. So I'm pretty excited about it. That's pretty much all I had to say about that. I'm just excited about it.
He's very excited. He's been watching. So, watching Christopher, the beautiful ginger movie man, saying that he's tried to stay off all of the theories, to go in with, open eyes and not try to have what people dictate the movie as, but what
Bring me a quieter toy.
what the Russos want the movie to be for their fans. What do you have to say? What do you think's going to happen? You've been watching a lot of theories.
Well, the reason I want to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp is because I do think that time travel, the vortexes are going to have a part of it. That's why I want to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I think there's going to be things in there that come important. Doctor Strange obviously had some sort of idea of what was going on. He looked in the future, saw stuff. So I think he's probably going to be important. He'll probably come into it somehow. And
Well, come see it with us, buddy.
Yeah, Alex, come on up. We're going Friday morning. Come on. Come on.
I got a couch you can sleep on.
Well,
I'll make you a waffle in the morning.
Bring me a quieter toy. Those
Who do
toys
you
are
think
all too loud.
is gonna die?
Bring me a quieter one. Who's gonna die?
Yeah.
I think Cap's gonna die. There's just a lot of there's a lot of evidence towards him dying.
First, when we started watching the Caps again, because I enjoy Chris Evans and I enjoy him bearded and I just enjoy him, period.
Okay, what are you doing back there? Come here.
But I asked Dan, I was like, will you judge me when Cap dies? And I start crying. And he was like, in this movie? Yes. And I was like, no. We were watching First Avenger at the time. I was like, no, in Endgame, because he's going to die. So I think he's going to die. I don't know about Tony.
So Alex says Ant-Man is totally going to go up Thanos' butt and grow huge. There is... Sexy Science Man did a theory on that.
Sexy Science Man.
So Nerdist is a YouTube channel.
It's because science, and his name's Kyle Hill.
Yes, it's part of the Nerdist channel. Yeah. Let me get there.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Calm down.
I get very excited about my Sexy
Science.
So
because science, but with Kyle Hill, he does scientific theories, I guess, or looks at theories and things in movies and comics and stuff. And puts him with science because he's actually an engineer. And apparently it wouldn't work because the tensile strength of your colon is too strong and Ant-Man wouldn't have enough room to grow bigger. So that wouldn't work. But what he could do...
Leave it to Sexy Science.
He does say later that what he should do is go inside of him, get into a vein, and go as big as he can. He still wouldn't be able to expand, but he would block the blood flow, and then Thanos would die from not having enough blood. So he could still do that, I guess. But I don't think they're gonna do that. I
think that would be like
that. I'm pretty sure they're not gonna be doing. But it is a 3 hours and 2 minutes long. I don't. Does that include? I don't know if that's. I think that's just runtime. I don't think that includes credits.
I thought that was credits. I thought when they do runtime of a movie, it's from the beginning credits to when the end credits are over.
I don't think so. I think it's just actual runtime. But in any case, it's a long movie. I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with long movies. Some people don't like movies that are over 2 hours. I don't know. If it's a good movie, the more the better, in my opinion.
I think it depends on the movie. Like, have they captured my interest for 3 hours? Is it something that I really want to pay attention to for 3 hours?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's a good movie, bring it on.
Because Infinity War was pretty long.
It was over 2 hours, yeah.
But
some of my favorite movies are Lord of the Rings, and look how long those are. So, so Alex brings up a good point. So Alex says, I want to see it, but I have to wake up early for class the next day. So I assume by the next day you mean Friday the 26th. Is that the day you're talking about? You have to wake up for class? Because most people don't have class on Saturday. And if that's what you mean, here's my issue. In general, with the world nowadays, I guess. But it always comes up with these movies because I care about the opening day of these particular movies. It's supposed to open April 26th. Right? That's the day. That is April 26th is the day. Well, guess what day it is? That's Friday. What day does it actually open? Thursday. That's the 25th. You can see the movie at 5 o'clock in the evening on Thursday the 25th. Then that means that opening day is not the 26th. It is the 25th. Stop lying to me. Stop telling people it's on the 26th. The opening day is the 25th.
So this is what bothers me. I'm going to get a little political. Is that there used to be the midnight showing. For these types of movies, for Star Wars, for
Continue.
Marvel, and then jackasses with guns decide to shoot up a theater, and now there's a 3 o'clock and a 5 o'clock and a 7 o'clock, and you no longer have anything after 7 o'clock, because God forbid you could go to a movie at midnight.
They do. There are midnight showings of it.
No, I thought they got rid of all the midnight
midnight showings of this movie.
Well, maybe it's just this movie then, because I thought they got rid of the whole midnight showing, and first it was 10.
No.
Then they moved it to 7.
But it's not anymore. Now it's all day. It's all day, and we saw Infinity War at 3 o'clock. It wasn't even. It was like 2:45. When did we see Infinity War? What time was it?
I don't. I thought we went twice.
Yes, but the first time.
It was like 4,
it was
I think.
Thursday afternoon. Like I remember there being a ticket.
3:00.
I remember there being a ticket for 2 something. It was like 2:30. You could see a movie 2:30 in the afternoon the day before it was supposed to be released. So
that's ridiculous.
For Endgame, I didn't see anything that early. The earliest one I saw was 5 p.m. But 5 p.m. on the 25th is not a midnight showing on the 26th. Midnight is the new day. So if you want to show a movie Thursday night at 12 o'clock, that's actually technically Friday morning. So I'm fine with that. 5 p.m. on the 25th is the 25th.
He gets very heated about this.
The opening day is the 25th, not the 26th.
I love when you get angry about things.
People don't know how to count. Do they not know math in Marvel? Or Disney? Or Hollywood in general? Do they not know how to do math?
You just dissed Disney. I'm telling Disney that you
Go ahead. Mickey doesn't know math, apparently. He knows magic. He knows how to make me feel like a child in a good way, but he don't know how to math. And you know what?
Is calendar really
I'm not that good at math.
though?
I'm not that good at math, but I know the difference between a 25 and a 26.
Is that what you're considering math? Because if you consider calendar and time, it's all relative.
Relative to what?
Relative to what you make
It's still the future, isn't it?
Because 3:00 here...
Listen. Just listen to me. Today is today. Tomorrow is tomorrow, correct?
Yes.
Relativity or not, that's still the future, is it not?
Yes, but...
Still the future, yes or no?
Yes, it's still the future.
So therefore,
Tomorrow's...
the 25th and the 26th, one is the future of the present, right?
Both are the future of this
of
present.
Now, but one's farther in the future, correct?
Yes, love.
Boom. Okay, there you have it. So that's all I got to say about Endgame. Next would be children. So this weekend we are going up to Bad Company to teach children how to shoot each other in the face.
And Bad Company is in Indiana, PA.
0 hour. I don't know what 0 hour is, but anyway. So it's in Indiana, yeah. And we're going to go teach children how to shoot each other in the face. It's.
Can we stop for a second? You
What?
will go to New York, but you won't come visit me. I see how it is. Continue.
I think Albany is a little closer to him than we are. Time-wise. Not mileage, but time-wise, I think it is.
Anyway,
Look it
continue. I don't care
Look it
enough
up.
to look it up.
Look it up.
I don't have my phone.
Cool. The game is called 0 Hour Endgame. It's 6.5 hours. How long does it take you to get to Pittsburgh? If ever you were to come visit us.
Where are you in Virginia? Because it takes 5 hours to get to D.C.
Again, different roads.
I understand that.
It's pretty much a straight shot from where he is up to New York. It just takes 99 straight north.
New York City, maybe.
No, any part of New York. Not New York City. That's farther east.
No, it's not. Because
yes, it
you're
is.
like 2 hours.
99 goes
Washington,
to the center of the state.
Whatever. I don't care.
New York City is on the East Coast.
I understand where New York City is.
Is the middle of our state on the East Coast?
No.
Well, then how is what you're saying
I
makes any
don't
sense?
know where he lives in Virginia.
How does what you're saying make any sense?
Nothing what I say makes sense. These people should know this already.
Anyway.
Go ahead, talk about your children.
So, I believe it's ages 10 to 17. You get to play for free. And
you bring your own paint?
Entry is free. It's bring your own paint. Air is free.
You cannot bring your pup, though.
And the idea is just we're supposed to be teaching these kids, just introducing them to the game, teach them how to play.
Pretty much shadow what they're going to shadow us.
Yeah, kind of just say go from this bunker to that bunker or shoot that guy in the face. And just kind of generally make them have a good time and get them to enjoy the sport and get into it. It's put on by the Modern Day Pirates, so they're probably going to have some old equipment for these kids so they can take it home and really get into the game.
Sorry.
Don't apologize to me, apologize to them.
I wasn't apologizing to you.
They're the ones who have to listen to it. Well, then come on up and teach the kiddos. It'll be fun. I mean, we get to shoot each other as well, obviously. We also get to shoot the children. I plan on using my sword a couple of times. I'm going to hit her with my sword because it's still something I have to do this year.
You're hitting me with anything.
But generally the idea is to paid much more attention to the kids and making sure that they're having a good time and they're learning the game than it is about us having a good time and shooting each other, I guess. There's still plenty of that, but it's much more about them than it is about us.
So there'll be 3 Dunedain members there.
Yeah, I think Dalton is reffing it though.
Yeah, he said he was working it, so.
And then the 2 of us will be playing. So, do we have any more kids classes in the summer? Well, we're still planning on doing our summer camp, June 17 through 21. Although at this point we still have no information about it. Their P3 is taking their good old time planning anything about it, so who knows at this point if it's actually happening. We were just talking about that the other day. We still plan on having it, but like
we can't have it without a field though.
Yeah, and at this
point,
point,
if nobody knows about
we're
it.
now at the end of April. It's supposed to be happening mid to late June. 2 months and no promotion has been out. Now we've both been promoting at like any kids that come to the field that we have a party with or anything. We absolutely have been throwing it out there and making sure they pay attention. But
and
we've been telling them, pay attention to the Facebook page, pay attention to the website, and nothing's been done with it. So I don't know what's happening with that. But as far as are there any more of the days like this weekend will be? Unfortunately not. Apparently they haven't gotten the responses to warrant that.
There was supposed to be one at Urban Assault, one at 3 Rivers, which I think was going to be... No, there was going to be one at Skirmish. Sorry. There's one in Urban Assault, P3, and Skirmish.
Yeah, they were going to do it at Ion. Ion was going to be a day. And I thought about doing it for volunteering for that one too, but I don't have time at Ion. I'm going to be... it's not that I don't have time. It's that the game I'm going to want to play at Ion, a kid that's never played before is not going to want to get into... I've been known to just run straight at the enemy. And if there's like 1,000 people shooting at me, that kid's not going to want to do that. And I'm not going to force him.
I don't know what kid... Going to Ion as a first experience...
would be terrible.
It's terrible sometimes when it's not your first experience. And I don't mean the entire weekend is terrible. Don't misquote me. But there are aspects of Ion that are not always fun. Especially at night when you get shot in the neck.
I know that last year I went to attack the forward operating base. I ran straight in. There were like 20 guys in there. I ran straight in shooting. I got like 4 of them out, which was good. But I got shot many times up close. So would some kid that's never played before want to do that? Absolutely not. And if I had this kid shadowing me, I probably wouldn't do it. And then I would be upset that I wasn't playing the game I wanted to play.
And Ion's expensive.
Ion is expensive.
Ion is an entire weekend and is expensive.
If they're there, they're paying for it. So
yes, but you're paying for it.
Right. That's true.
And you need to play your game.
That's true. So
during that scenario,
something like this weekend is nice because it's free. You're not paying to be there, and the whole day is about teaching them how to play. It's not, oh, take this kid with you while you're playing. It's be here to teach this child. So it's a little bit different, and I'm pretty excited about it. I always enjoy teaching people how to play. That's the whole reason we're doing a summer camp, because I think the only way to get the sport going is to get kids into it. And sometimes a little kid can be like the best weapon on the field. Sometimes, if they're a brave little kid, they can be the best weapon on the field. I love night games, just not when people argue about you being out. Well, I'm not a big fan of night games. I don't know, I've had issues. She definitely hates night games. She's had more issues than me. But overall, I'll play at night. I prefer day, but I'll play at night, no issue. But as far as the arguing about you being out, you're going to get that no matter what. If you have enough people at one time playing, which Ion being one of the biggest in the world, there's a lot of people, which means you're going to have arguments.
If they had like stadium lights, and I'm not saying that they have to like light up the entire...
That would defeat the purpose of the night game.
Not lighting... You didn't let me finish. Not lighting up the entire field, but having lights so that you can see like the boundaries and being able to leave when you are out. also not playing against people who have night vision, because that's not fair.
That's pretty fair. They pay for it, they have it. You don't pay for it, you don't have it. Just like if you have a speedball gun, because you paid for it, you have a speedball gun. If you didn't, then you don't.
Then I'm going to go buy some night vision.
Okay, then go buy some night vision.
Why are you not taking my side?
Because that one is, if you just spend the money for it, you have it.
But the airborne... Never mind. Forget it.
What?
Forget it.
What?
It doesn't matter.
The airborne what?
No.
The airborne
no,
what?
Never mind. No.
Tell me. The airborne what?
No one else has No one else has night vision.
Because no one else has bought it. If you got out and bought some, then you'd have it.
Okay.
They've spent the money, so they have it. What? I don't understand the problem.
There is no problem, Daniel. There's no problem.
You're having a problem. What's the problem?
It doesn't matter.
Tell me the problem.
No.
Tell me the problem.
I just told you the problem. That I got shot in the neck and I did not appreciate it. And with knowing that they had night vision just made me even angrier. So regardless of if I was allowed to have night vision, I didn't even think that was a thing that you were allowed to bring on the field, or would I spend money on night vision to play one game a year in the dark?
So they spent the money.
Okay.
Well, anyway.
Whatever.
I did have an issue 2 years ago in the night game. Now, I decided I'm not playing night anymore because of it. Ray and I were behind a bunker looking in, and we got shot in the back towards this side, so back right. And now it's dark. It's pitch black. We can't see anything. But we got hit, so we call out, and we start gathering our stuff. But we have to search around. We're also in no hurry. But we are leaving the field. Hi, puppy. And we get shot again. Like, not once, not twice. Like, he loaded on us. It was the same guy. We were like, what are you doing? You know, we couldn't tell it was the same guy. Like, I couldn't see him, but he came from exactly the same spot. He was like, leave the field, get out of here. I said, we're leaving. We're gathering our stuff. What do you want from us? I didn't see you moving. Well, then you weren't looking because we were moving. And that made me angry. And I assume that person had night vision because obviously he could see us and we couldn't see him at all. So there's that. But yeah, so that's what we got going on. That's what we had to talk about this week. So if do you get upset when there's someone on the field that has a $1,000 weapon when someone else has a rental?
Why are you bringing this up? Just drop it. It's fine.
I'm just asking a question.
No, I don't.
Why not? Isn't that unfair?
No, it's not unfair.
Well, then why is it unfair for some people to have night vision?
Because I felt that me getting hit in the neck and knowing that it was probably from somebody who had night vision pissed me off. Why do you have... We're over. We're done talking about this. You don't have to bring it up and make a big scene.
Yeah, I do. It's exactly what I have to do. But I guess that's all. Night vision suck, A-Dog, it's okay. I'm not sure what he means by that.
He doesn't like night vision.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can see why you'd use it. If I had the money to... If I had $3,000 to drop on night vision, I'd do it too. Or thermals, or whatever you want to see. But I don't personally think that's worth it. The night part of the game is an hour long, maybe. So, like... I'm not going to spend that much money for an hour worth of play. But I guess if they want to do that, more power to them. It's just we're not going to play night games anymore. Or that particular night portion of Ion. I might stay on the field towards like the very edge. But I'm not going to go out in the middle towards the woods, which is where apparently they like to sneak around.
I can't see when it's bright outside. You want me to see when it's dark.
That's true. You're not wrong about that. But in any case, that is all we have for the night. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about before we peace out and go watch Ant-Man and the Wasp?
You can buy a house for $45,000.
It's more than my car was. Dudes with night vision literally walked past me in the woods, and I shot all of them, and it was funny. Cool
Very
story,
proud.
bro. Tell it again.
Very proud of you, Alex.
Well, I guess they weren't paying attention, or well, I mean, you are very sneaky.
He also tiny.
He also tiny. You're smaller than A-Dog, and that's hard to do. She's like 3 inches tall.
I'm not 3 inches tall. That's not accurate at all.
You're not accurate at all.
That's very true.
All right, well then I guess that is everything. Look forward to some videos coming. I guess I'll ask one last thing. So anyone that skips ahead to the end, this is for you too. If you guys want just video of the whole day, everything I have, let me know in the comments, and I will do that. If you prefer me to edit it out and just have what I find to be the good stuff, let me know that. Either way, say in the comments if you want the full day or edit it down to just like maybe 3 videos. So let me know. All right, everybody, have a good night.
Bye, everybody.